It is the Tuesday Night War, Andrew. Are you ready? And which show will you be watching live? And which show will you be watching on delay? Or are you going to watch both shows at the same time?
I am going to watch both shows at the same time. My TV has that ability, strangely enough. So I could actually pick two separate apps. So I could watch it on Hulu Live and I could watch it on YouTube TV also.
Oh, that's
Or
cool.
I should call my cable provider and install a cable box and I could just go click, go back and forth like it's
back and forth.
1997 again.
No, that is really cool. But then what happens when both shows go picture in picture at the same time? You got two screens and then boxes in the screens, and then it gets wild.
It's like Inception. It's wrestling within wrestling within wrestling.
I'm going to attempt to do the same thing as you. In my office, I'll have Hulu Live going with AEW. And then the problem is for me is I don't have the USA feed for the East Coast. I only have the West Coast. So it's not going to show on the West Coast. But I think what I can do, if I remember correctly, I can go directly to the USA website. And I should be able to log in with my credentials and watch it there. So I'm going to attempt to go both at the same time as you as well. And the reason to do it, I wouldn't normally do this. Like normally when, AEW is on Wednesday and NXT is on Tuesday, I don't care. I just watch them whenever. Watch AEW live for the most part, but NXT is just whenever I can. But there's something crazy that could happen tonight, so I want to check it out.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think something will happen tonight. I think both are planning a big show here. This is actually my wife's worst nightmare. Not only is there wrestling on every day now, it's on. There's two wrestlings on in the same day at the same time. It becomes very overwhelming. Saturday, we couldn't handle it. Saturday was overwhelming.
Saturday was tough. But, I don't know. Did that WWE show was seemingly...
you go, Garrett. You continue. I gotta fix my video.
Okay. No. So what I was gonna say is Saturday wasn't that terrible, and I'll tell you why. WWE's show existed. Now, I know they had Cody and Jey Uso win the tag team titles. That was pretty fun. You had John Cena and LA Knight. Not the best match, especially the story that they were telling. But ultimately, it was a show to get minutes watched for people who just needed their WWE fix, their monthly WWE PLE fix. That's what it was for. Nothing really super progressed. They created a storyline out of Cody Rhodes winning the tag team titles as if it was a negative because now his eye is going to be off the ball when it comes to the other story that he was supposed to. So it's not really anything too important to me. So I was just like, okay, both Collision and the Fastlane show were kind of, I'll just kind of watch them when I have the chance, when I can catch up. So neither were really all that interesting to me. Did you get your video back, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, sorry.
Okay, there you
go. My expensive capture card does not like me doing a show and using it. Apparently, every time I'm doing this now, I go into the matrix and everything starts getting wacky. I watched both and I thought both were just there.
Yeah.
I was curious to see John Cena. I wanted to see that Nakamura match. It was fine, but there was nothing special. There was nothing that you. I would say this was one of the weaker WWE PLEs in recent memory that I could think of.
2 in a row to me.
What was the other one?
Was it Payback? Was that the last one?
Whatever
September
it was.
One? Yeah. And like I think we've had this discussion, which is September and October, for whatever reason, they're just trying to get us to November, and it seems like things will kickstart again.
Isn't it interesting that WWE's detriment is the fact that they're very good at doing WWE content, right? They're very good, like sports entertainment-wise, like they're the best. But it's a detriment to them because they're so predictable in the way that they're formulated. Everything is very formulated. On the other side, AEW, there's no formulation, and you sometimes get these unbelievable shows, and then other times it's like, well, it was okay. Collision last week was okay. It was whatever.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. Listen. They were in Utah. The attendance was terrible, and that has no reflection of their current day business because when they went there when they were super hot, it was still terrible because the market is not for it. I think it was a series of events that brought it here, but at WWE, I think they just put on a show to put on a show.
No, that's exactly what it was. I was at Raw last week, not last night, but the week before. And like my thought as I was watching the show is this is such a fun show to be at live, especially with those beautiful ringer hookup seats. But I couldn't imagine sitting through all 3 hours on TV and thinking it was a good show. Now, some people told me who watched it, they thought it was pretty decent, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not watching this show back because there were moments where, when something's not happening or interesting, you just kind of turn to your buddy and you start shooting stuff on
Yeah.
whatever else. So, but yeah, they're in whatever you would consider to be, they're on an escalator or, whatever the
Yeah.
terminology is that you want to use. They're just existing right now to get to some of the bigger things that they have for, November with SummerSlam and with Crown Jewel. And then you get to January, which is where they really start heating up. So unfortunately for WWE fans, now some WWE fans are fine with it because it's not bad. It's okay. It's just nothing is going on. Okay,
I
so
have a theory on
now
WWE if you want me to just
go for
present
it.
it right now, okay? And I'll let
Go
people
for it.
think. Do you know why WWE does so well with casual fans, finding casual viewers, right? I was having this discussion with someone there, and you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like these shows that we've had, like it's a build, to January, and that's their big beginning of the season. And when I was talking to this person, they said, you know why we do so well. I'm like, no, tell me, because I was like throwing different ideas. I was saying more marketing wise. He goes, no, it's the Royal Rumble. They have determined that is the entry to anybody that becomes a wrestling fan. That is your entryway into it because there's something happening every couple seconds. There's a lot of moving parts. You're always watching it with someone that knows these people, so you're getting the education and the quick summary of everything. And
Yeah,
it is the number one entry point for a casual viewer to become a fan.
I like that. And you know what also they do well with that show is the lapsed fan, because the
Yeah.
fan who, may watch one WWE event a year, if it's not WrestleMania, it's going to be the Rumble because they remember what happened in 1992 when Flair won, or in 1998 when Austin won. Like there are memorable Rumbles that people will just, whenever the Royal Rumble comes up, they go, "Oh, I remember that Rumble." And so I'm kind of
Yeah.
interested. I haven't watched WWE in forever, but this is a show that I'm gonna sit through. Text me when the Rumble starts. Now we got two Rumbles. The men's or the women's? Which one are you talking about? All right, let's get back to this show or these shows that are happening tonight. I did a little poll on my Twitter. Now, my Twitter is probably going to be slightly more biased to AEW fans, but as of right now, and I just did it not that long ago. 70% of fans or followers are going to watch AEW Dynamite live. 17% are watching NXT live, and then 13% are attempting to watch both at the same time, like you and I are. Does that surprise you that, and I'm sure the people that listen to this show, I'm guessing that it would probably be a little bit higher on Dynamite as well. But
Yeah.
when it turns out, when we get those ratings on Wednesday, I just have this feeling that NXT, at least from an overall audience standpoint, is going to do the bigger number. Now, the demo could be closer just because AEW does a better number with the younger folks. But what are your thoughts? Like, do you sense that there's more interest in AEW from sort of our viewership, people who watch us? Because on paper, that is a better wrestling card, but on the other side, you got the bigger giant stars who are
Yeah.
trying to keep a hold on Tuesday night for NXT tonight.
I will say so. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, right? I I had a feeling they were doing something tremendous here because people in WWE are very of the mind that it's going to be a slaughter tonight. it's not even going to be close. That's their mindset here. I'm not saying that that's what's going to play out, but the mindset is that it's going to be a total slaughter, not even comparable.
Mm-hmm.
And I started hearing this about a month ago. Actually, yeah, maybe about a month ago. And I was surprised that that's what their positioning was, that it would be a slaughter. Now, being close or winning by a little bit because they've been hot, I could understand, but this was in the plans for a while. The moment that they knew that AEW was going to be on Tuesday, they started planning this. And people within AEW, also have the mindset, or had the mindset that it's not going to be an easy win for them, or they're going to have to work really hard to make this
Well,
work.
AEW won last year when they went head to head.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same. You didn't
No,
have
it
John
wasn't.
Cena and The Undertaker.
No. It wasn't the same. But I think that's why WWE is so concerned, is because the same mentality that they had during the Wednesday Night War, right? Which is, we're going to use NXT, our third brand, and we won't even let AEW get started. We're going to run head to head. Then they moved off of their date. And then, they're coming back on our date. We should win. And so we're not, they loaded it up enough, but not like they did this time. And then they lost again on their night. So of course they're going to load this show up like crazy. They don't want to lose again. AEW is going to come from Wednesday to Tuesday and beat them on their night when NXT is now hotter than it's ever been. No way. They're going to make sure that, at least my mentality would be thinking what they're thinking is, there's no way we're going to make it like an absolutely no doubt about it this time.
Yeah, listen, I still think it would have been, NXT could have beat them if this was the current, with their current setup, right? Not bringing a John Cena or The Undertaker or Cody. They still had a possibility of beating them. It would have been closer. The other thing we're going to find out here is how many viewers are there for wrestling on one night? This is something that we talk about all the time where, you get 800 and I get 800. It's not an even 800. It's not that, they split the audience in that sense. But I'm very curious on what this could do, because WWE's selling this as a big thing. AEW's selling it as a big thing. They got this tremendous overrun. It's Tony's birthday, so he's going to do something. I find this to be a lot of fun, but I also think it's, I'm not upset about the pettiness. I think competitiveness is great. Far number 2. There we go.
All right, sorry. There we go.
No.
That might have been my
second.
side, but you froze on me, so I was trying to figure out if we were good. All right, so